KPop Demon Hunter just got announced for the Criterion collection, and people are really mad. I don't really get why. Like, I kind of get why. Criterion does present themselves as, like, a super prestigious, super curated catalog of movies. And I think that's true. I've talked about that before on the channel. Like, when talk about the movies, 99% of the stuff they put out is a good movie. Whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, is subjective. But in the grand scheme of the film industry, these are some of the best 1,300 plus movies you could watch. And I think that holds true even today. While there are some questionable movies being added, for instance, I recently watched Shape of Water. Loved the movie. Is it as good as, is it as good as some of the other Criterion movies? Not necessarily, but it's a very good movie, and I don't have any issue with it being in the Criterion collection. But you can make the argument that that was a movie that had plenty of releases, plenty of, good, high-quality releases. It didn't really need a Criterion release, which I think people forget is part of what Criterion does, especially now. Like, that's one of their main things now. They're a boutique Blu-ray label. Like, that's what they do, is give releases to movies that are often hard to find or hard to find, at least in a good quality. And KPop Demon Hunters fits that. Like, I haven't seen the movie, personally. I don't really have that much interest in seeing the movie. It looks fine. It's just not, for me, I'm not a K-pop fan, and I'm not super into whatever Netflix is doing. I don't really like Netflix that much. So I had no interest in watching the movie. But I'm probably going to buy this and watch it. If for no other reason, it's to help support Netflix movies getting physical releases. Like, that's a good thing. That is just a good thing. I want Netflix movies to get physical releases. There are several Netflix movies that I absolutely love that don't have a physical release. I just bought the For Your Consideration copies of Rustin and Tick Tick Boom because they don't have real releases. I would love if Criterion put them out. I would love if anyone put them out. I would buy them in a heartbeat because they're great. They're great movies that should be watched. But they're trapped on Netflix. And it's not like Netflix doesn't remove stuff that they put out. They removed the She-Ra show. Great show. They removed it. It's theirs. No one else has rights to that. You never know when something's going to get taken away, right? And it's not just Netflix. This is a streaming-wide issue, but specifically in this case, Criterion has a deal with Netflix. They do a lot of the Netflix movies. Uncut Gems is a great movie that's Netflix exclusive. It got a release from Criterion. Power of the Dog also got released in the Criterion collection. The Irishman is in the Criterion collection. These wouldn't have physical releases if it wasn't for Criterion. And K-Pop Demon Hunters is no different. I get that it's, a kid movie. It's not anything super special. But it's a massive hit. And let's be honest, this is going to generate a lot of money for Criterion. They're releasing this with the expectation that it's going to sell like crazy. It'll probably get released relatively soon. Like, they've already kind of announced that it wasn't part of their month, the slate that they did for a certain month or anything like that. It was just kind of put out in a press release from, I want to say, Variety. Same thing with, like, Frankenstein. It was kind of just put out in a press release from Variety. We know it's happening, but it isn't, like, announced by Criterion for when it's coming out. But we know it's coming, and it's probably going to be pretty soon. They're going to want to catch this wave while it's still really popular. You put that in a Target, and it's going to sell millions of copies. People are going to buy it. Kids are going to buy it the same way kids buy vinyl without having a record player. You know how many people bought the stupid-ass Taylor Swift album and don't have a record player? They just want it because it's Taylor Swift. The same thing. This is just something that people are going to buy, and they're not going to have a way to play it. And that's fine. It's going to generate money for Criterion. And if you want Criterion to keep putting out these weird-ass movies that no one's heard of, that's going to sell 46 copies at your Barnes & Noble, They have to do something to make money. And that's why we get movies like The Shape of Water or Thelma and Louise. Did Thelma and Louise need a Criterion release? No. That anyone could have put that out. It is a extremely popular movie. Anyone could have put out a 4K of that and it would have sold money. But by Criterion doing it, it makes them a lot of money. And they need a lot of money to restore some of these old-ass movies that we actually want them to be putting out. You gotta have a balance, and that balance sometimes swings a little too far in the other way. I will say, something like The Shape of Water, something like Thelma and Louise, there's a lot of movies that are like this, you know, the Armageddons of the day, or the RoboCops of the day. There's a lot of movies that are better, we'll say. Again, I haven't seen K-Pop Demon Hunter. I'm working on the assumption that it's like lowest common denominator movie. It could be great. I don't know. We'll find out when I watch it one day. But there are movies that are very good and very popular that they try to put in the collection to make a lot of money. But this is one they probably didn't have to work too hard to get the rights to, because they already have a working relationship with Netflix. So this is just an easy layup of a win for them. This is a layup for them. This is nothing. It takes zero effort from them. All they have to do is put it out physically, and it's going to make them money. And they're going to use that money to put out the weird-ass Finnish film that you want to see. And that's good. That's just a good thing. Like, yes, there's other movies I would like to see in the Criterion collection. I was trying to watch Dead Presidents the other day. First off, I had to go buy a fucking DVD of it because nothing else exists. It's not in print or anything. It's not like I could buy a new one. I had to buy a used DVD of it off of Macari, and it didn't work. It was broke. And it skipped the first 10 minutes of the movie. I tried to just ignore that because a lot of it was the credits, opening credits anyway, and I didn't really have another option, so I was hoping it was just going to be that and be fine. No, it paused halfway through the movie and just stopped working. What am I going to do with that? What is that? That's ass. That's shit. I could stream it. The streaming service is like MGM or something. I don't want to pay MGM to watch this movie. I want to just buy the movie. But I can't. It's not available anywhere. That's the kind of stuff I would like to see Criterion releasing. But is that going to make them money? If they put out Dead Presidents right now on 4K, is that making, millions of sales? Probably not. It's going to do, I think it would do well. I think it would do well enough compared to a million other Criterion releases, but is it going to be the cultural touchstone, the mass sales, the juggernaut of sales, like, I don't know, Eyes Wide Shut was, that you couldn't even get on release? No. It's going to be a random other release, but it's tied up in rights issues, it's tied up in all kinds of other issues, it's the quality available is shit, there's an alternate ending that people are obviously going to want, there's so much involved in that movie, it's going to cost them money to make it, and it's not going to do very well. But we get those movies anyway, because they get funding for it by stuff like this. K-Pop Demon Hunters is probably not going to be your favorite Criterion movie. It's definitely not going to be my favorite Criterion movie. But it's going to sell well. It's going to show Netflix that they can put physical movies out and it will make money. Maybe you buy it for your child or a kid in your life. And they own a movie now. They can see the joy that comes with just owning it. Having that copy. It becomes collectible to them. It gets the name in their house. It gets the idea in their house, into their lives. This is just a win for everybody. If you don't want to own K-Pop Demon Hunters in your Criterion collection, then don't fucking buy it. They're not relying on you to buy it. They're not looking at people like me to buy it. They're looking at the millions of 9-year-olds who are going to go buy it because it's K-Pop Demon Hunters, and that's their favorite thing right now. Yes, they don't do this with other movies. Yes, they could do this. We could make that argument for who knows what other movie. But it's not the same thing as those movies. Sure, does this mean that they should put Endgame in there? Does this mean that Secret Wars should get a Blu-ray from Criterion because it's going to sell a bunch? No, because Disney's going to put that out anyway, but Netflix isn't. Netflix isn't going to put K-Pop Demon Hunters on to a Blu-ray. They're not going to release it. Why would they? They don't release physical movies, but they're working with Criterion to do so. So it's either Criterion releases it or no one does. I'd always rather someone release it than no one release it. There's zero harm in this being in the Criterion Collection. You have to separate what the business that is boutique Blu-rays, Criterion as a company, a company that just releases movies in a quality fashion from what I think people think is like this Hall of Fame of movies. Are Criterion movies of a certain quality? Almost always. It's very hard to find truly bad ones. Even some of the things that people point out as the worst, like Chasing Amy, it's not a bad movie. Like, is it as good as, the movies released around it, like Seven Samurai? No. But is it, bad? No. That's fine. It's a good movie. It's worth watching. It's worth owning. It got a Criterion release. Is K-Pop Demon Hunters the greatest movie ever? Is it going to compete with, I don't know, I don't even know what's coming out from Criterion. The last month of Criterion was not, and nothing lit me on fire for things I wanted to buy. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to keep getting these Eclipse box sets that like 6 people buy, if you want to keep getting these silent films or these foreign films that need to get dubbed and imported, if you want to keep getting these 1940s classics that no one has heard of except you and your small group of like 6 friends, you have to they gotta sell something. They can't just keep selling these random copies of the 37.5 to 4 people. That's not going to support a business. That just isn't. This is an easy win for Criterion. It's part of their Netflix deal, so it probably wasn't super hard to get put out. Frankly, Netflix probably pushed for this to get out, and I'm sure they got something in return. This is kind of what we have to deal with. This is something you have to kind of just accept because they need to make money. And this is a cash grab. This is a quick buck on something that's super popular. And sure, they haven't really done this kind of thing before, but we're entering a different time for physical media. Criterion's always been a boutique label, but that was at a time when everyone and everything came out physically. Everything got a DVD, everything got a VHS, They were doing Laserdisc, but everything was getting a DVD, everything was getting, whatever release. But that's not the times we live in now. A lot of movies, so many movies, don't get a physical release anymore. And it's not just streaming stuff. Where is Y2K? A fairly good, I liked it quite a bit, movie from A24. No physical release. Unless you count the VHS. There's a VHS of it. That's it. Where's that movie? They just decided not to release it physically. A company, A24 is another thing that they put out physical movies themselves. You can buy them on their website. They just didn't release it. You're going to have to start making, I don't even want to say sacrifice. You don't have to do anything, but you're going to have to kind of understand that they need, with less people buying physical media than ever, they really need to kind of push the ones that are going to sell to keep the money coming in so that they can make the ones that we actually want. This is going to sell to all the little teens that are obsessed with it. And that's great. That's going to fund them for years while they put out movies that we want. I don't see the problem here. You don't like it? Don't buy it. That's fine. They're not relying on you to buy it. If you're a completionist, someone who just wants everyone, the number system really catches you, I get it. It does me too. And I'm probably going to buy this. But I'm also probably going to buy it just because It's something that wouldn't have gotten a release otherwise, and I think that's important to support. I want more movies to get physically released, especially these streaming exclusives. We're just getting Killers of a Flower Moon now. Probably shouldn't have been lost in there. Did you know Spike Lee has a movie on Netflix? It's locked to Netflix. It'd be great if that got released. I would love to see that released. And Spike Lee has a working relationship with Criterion. Think about that for a second. Criterion works with Netflix and with Spike Lee heavily. Several of his movies are in the Criterion collection, but not the Netflix one. Maybe, the three came together. Netflix will let Criterion put out The Five Bloods, a movie Spike Lee probably would love to see in the collection. Whatever your opinions are on the movie, regardless, put that aside for a second. Spike Lee is an amazing filmmaker. His movie deserves to be released physically. It deserves to be readily available. It shouldn't be trapped to a Netflix. Maybe we get this because they got K-Pop Demon Hunters. Again, you can make that argument for any movie. Hell, maybe we're getting K-Pop Demon Hunters so we can get Del Toro's Frankenstein. Maybe you don't like Frankenstein. I've heard a lot of people don't really like the Frankenstein movie, but it's Guillermo del Toro. Doesn't he deserve a physical release, right? These movies deserve to be out there. And all of that aside, so does K-Pop Demon Hunters. Even if you don't like it, it still deserves to be released.